Disclaimer: this podcast is just our opinions and facts gathered on the internet, and we do not wish to offend or cause any harm. Quick apologies for mistakes we made in this podcast, whether it's saying the wrong thing, getting our facts wrong, or a bad pronunciation of names, cities, etc. We also do not have the correct equipment yet, and we are calling over FaceTime overseas. Therefore, excuse our sound quality, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Hello and welcome. This is Alex Taylor.
And this is Cara Moore, and you're listening to Alex and Cara's A Gen Z Combo. Today we will be discussing Donald Trump's presidency. Afterwards, give you a 5-minute rundown of the past week's world news.
So, Trump sued New York Times and his niece over a 2018 article that alleges that he was involved in dubious tax schemes. I think that I chose that news topic to share with you guys because it really ties in with today's topic, which is Trump's presidency. And
you will see a really big theme on Trump constantly just firing people because he doesn't like the results of their answers or something like that. And he's really big on attention as well.
Dr. Braid, who had been a doctor for 50 years, had been sued for performing an abortion on a woman who was in her early stages of pregnancy but beyond the state's new limit. We're talking about Texas here, and he stated that he acted because he had a duty of care to this patient, as he does for all patients, and because she has a fundamental right to receive this care. Yeah, I'm so glad that he did this for her.
Yeah, and also I think the new Texas light abortion law also say that you can, it also applies to people who have been sexually assaulted or raped as well.
So to everyone. So it sucks.
That's horrible, isn't it?
Everyone
has
that right, no matter what they've gone through. Everyone, literally everyone.
It's a woman's body. She can do whatever she wants with it.
It's her body, her choice. President Xi Jinping made an announcement in the United Nations General Assembly where he stated that China will not build new coal-fired projects abroad, a move that could make a huge difference in tackling global emissions. Yeah. 20 years ago, a young African boy was brutally murdered for a ritual and was found with his head and limbs removed in the River Thames. On Tuesday, the Metropolitan Police made a renewed appeal in which they asked members of the public to be brave and come forward with any information that may help solve this case. I really urge those who know something to send an anonymous tip or come forward for literally anything, because the smallest thing could make the biggest difference. And at this moment, this boy is named Adam by the detectives because he hasn't even been identified, and that's really sad. It's been 20 years and his family's members deserve closure. The European Court of Human Rights, or the ECHR, has determined that Russia was responsible for the killing of Alexander Litvinenko, a former Russian spy who became a British citizen. He was fatally poisoned with radioactive polonium in London in 2006. The UK public inquiry conducted 10 years later concluded that the killing was most likely approved by the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Russia, however, has denied any involvement.
That's slightly suspicious.
Yeah. Okay.
Slightly suspicious.
All alleged. Don't come for me, anyone. It's fine. China has set a 40-minute limit for children under 14 on the app Douyin, which is China's TikTok, apparently. So I'm going to talk about the civil war going on in Yemen, and this war is less spoken about, but the US, UN, EU, and the US and the UK have strongly condemned the 9 men's execution, one reported to be a minor, by the rebel movement Houthi. Yeah. In the Canadian election, Trudeau narrowly stayed in power, but failed to secure the majority of seats. Due to climate change, places like Sydney in Australia are experiencing temperatures around 50 degrees Celsius. That's really high. This has substantial effects on its indigenous species and also has led to bushfires.
Yeah, I think Australia didn't Australia go through a really big
wildfire, or maybe that was New Zealand. It was like
No,
a
it was
couple years
Australia.
ago.
I remember.
Yeah, they went through a huge like wildfire. Their country was basically on fire, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it really sucks. Climate change just sucks. There was a flash flood in 6 regional states in South Sudan, according to the UN, which have affected nearly 500,000 people. An erupting volcano on La Palma in the Spanish Canary Islands has forced the authorities to order the evacuations of many villages. More than 6,000 people, including firefighters, have already fled, and hundreds of homes have already been buried by the lava, which began on Sunday. There was a massive 5.8 magnitude earthquake in Melbourne, Australia this Wednesday, which is one of the largest earthquakes in recent Australian history, but it apparently has not caused any significant damage. So, good. There was a data breach where 250 Afghan interpreters seeking relocation in the UK were copied into an email. This raises security concerns for those people because they were in hiding, and Ben Laws, the UK's defense secretary, have said that we need to get these interpreters out or they'll be hunted and killed. That is really scary, and honestly, how on earth, you know? It really. Anyways, the primary health facilities across Afghanistan are collapsing, which will eventually lead to maternal and child mortality rates increasing, according to Dr. Wahid Majrou, who is the chief of public health and the only minister remaining in his post since Kabul fell. He has pledged to fight for the health of Afghans. The UNFPA estimates that without any support, there could be 51,000 additional maternal deaths, 4.8 million unintended pregnancies, and double the number of people who won't have access to family planning clinics between now and 2025, which is in 4 years' time.
That is terrifying to me. That's a very high amount of numbers, and in only 4 years.
It is really scary. I think with last week's Kara's news, we learned about the terrible state of poverty Afghanistan is in.
And yeah, the economy in Afghanistan right now is terrible.
It's not great. Afghan secondary schools have began reopening, but only for male students and teachers. I really think this desperately needs to change. And again, like Kara said, I thought we were over this.
I didn't think we still needed to protest for that. That's crazy.
Female Kabul government workers are being told to stay at home unless their jobs cannot be filled up by a man. Honestly, this is just so frustrating. We need to be progressive as a society, and from what I've seen so far, I think the Taliban are going to rule Afghanistan like they did previously, like in, I think, the 1990s? Yeah, I think they're going to rule Afghanistan like that. Yeah. And the Taliban have asked to speak at the New York UN General Assembly and have been even nominated a spokesperson, Suhail Shaheen. Hours after the release of Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested on a 2018 U.S. warrant, Canadians Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were released. The Taliban's previous head of religious police have stated that extreme punishments like executions and amputations will begin again. And okay. And also, George Floyd's murderer, Derek Chauvin, who was sentenced to over 22 years, says he will appeal against his conviction. And honestly, when will he stop? He has caused enough pain already, and he doesn't need to do that. Australia have decided to scrap a multi-billion-dollar submarine purchase from France and instead sign the AUKUS Pact. The deal gives Australia a huge defense upgrade, but critics argue that this deal could have made Australia a bigger target. And North Korea has condemned this pact, saying that it could trigger a nuclear arms race and upset the strategic balance in the Asia-Pacific region.
Yeah, isn't North Korea like a super like military-based country?
It is.
So
They have been building like bombs and experimenting a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. I also there's like a mini mention of North Korea in the topic later on that I'm gonna do. So like kind of North Korea, I feel like is like
It's
if you're either friends with it. I don't think you're ever really friends with North Korea. I don't know.
It's scary, I think, because
Definitely.
they're making so many weapons. Like I think their main goal is like a certain weapon. I don't know. Anyways, Gabby Potito, I'm sure many of you have heard of this case. It has been going around the internet now, and I won't go into much detail, but if you want to find out more, you should listen to Crime Junkie. I love that show. Anyways, 22-year-old Gabby Potito was reported missing on the 11th of September, 10 days after 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, Gabby's fiance, came home in their white van alone. Her body was found on the September 21st, and the coroner has reported that it was a homicide, but hasn't reported the cause of death. Gabby was a van life blogger and social media star. Mr. Laundrie, a person of interest slash, I think, suspect, has been on the run since he eluded authorities. Moving on to COVID news. It is estimated that India has lost at least 1,600 doctors to COVID, and India's health workers and their families fight for compensation. In March of 2020, India's federal government promised 5 million rupees, which is equivalent to $68,000, to the families of every health worker who died fighting COVID. However, according to BBC's investigation, a lack of data, bureaucratic hurdles, and a discriminatory policy have left many families uncompensated.
Wait. Sorry, I was just like there, but like I didn't know that. I think a lot of it like we don't really think about the lives of the doctor during COVID as well. Like they are risking their lives every single day.
They are our frontline heroes.
Yeah, they are.
They are. Thank you. Thank you to anyone who's a doctor or nurse or anyone basically in the healthcare, um, profession, helping solve this pandemic and helping people. U.S. drug regulators have approved COVID boosters, Pfizer vaccines for some at-risk and older Americans. That's good. And Melbourne construction sites were shut down after a vaccine protest that turned violent. The protesters were protesting against the vaccination requirement for staff. So, yeah. Anyways, Russia. This is all hypothetical and information gathered on the internet. So please don't come for us because we don't mean any harm. I swear. Anyways, in the Russian election,
it's just hypothetical information.
It is hypothetical.
We could be entirely wrong or we could be entirely correct.
Yeah, it's fine. Just don't kill us, okay? In the Russian election, Putin's party wins election following an election. What? Wins the election following an election marred by alleged fraud. Apparently, Putin's biggest opponents were barred from running, and there were reports of ballot stuffing and forced voting. Also, there was a deadly shooting at Perm University in Russia this Monday, the 20th September morning. The shooting killed 6 students and injured 28. The assailant was a 19-year-old student attending the university and was armed with a gun and a knife. That's it for the 5-minute news. It's definitely more than 5 minutes today.
I didn't know that there were gun shootings in schools in Russia as well. I thought America was like maybe America's not the only country that does it, but I thought it was majority.
No, it's pretty rare in other countries. So I mean, America's really substantial in that area.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna move on to today's topic, and it's something that me and Alex are both equally excited.
Yes. Anyways, let's begin. So today's topic is Trump. Yeah, like we said. Anyways, take it over, Kara.
Yeah, okay, so this week's topic is something that both me and Alex are equally excited and super pumped for. It is a topic that we all talk about a lot in the past 4 years, and the news channels absolutely love to ravage about. It's about a certain president who has managed to be the first ever president to have 2 impeachment under his growing belt, the one and only Donald John Trump. Now, before we dive right into the mess of the last 4 years, we want to state that 4 years is a long time and a lot of things has happened. So we will only be focusing on some of the more drastic episodes that he has made. We will also be talking about some good things that he has done for the country because we believe that there are 2 sides to every story. Now, for those of you who have blissfully forgotten and thrown away the events of the last 4 years, let us recap. During his campaign to run against Hillary Clinton, he and his team of advisors promoted a theory of Hillary having a secret brain illness which caused her to be unable to climb upstairs and walk or sit upright without help. In many of his speeches, he would often call her out and question her mental and physical stamina and health. His whole campaign was to evoke attention towards himself and his party, neglecting proper facts, encouraging feuds against other politicians such as Obama, and vocalizing horrific and offensive slurs.
I hate
Moving
those
on to
kind
his
of people.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I hate those kind of people who just uses slurs. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Just don't use it.
Yeah, you don't have any right to do that.
No.
No matter who you are. It's not okay. Okay, so moving on to his inauguration in January, there was a huge gap between him and the media, starting with his ever-famous statement of fake news, which he claimed in a later interview that he was the one that was first to use this term. Trump began boasting about how the crowds of his ceremony were larger than Obama, but anyone who has access to the internet could quickly debunk that claim, despite his press secretary saying that the crowds were bigger in both person and around the world or the globe.
No, I think Obama's just hired. I mean, I love
Obama literally filled the whole what's it called?
I mean,
whole. He basically filled the whole.
I mean, he served. How many terms did he serve? Like a lot.
4. I could be wrong, but he served
the max, right? I think. I don't know.
Yeah, he served all of them. He got elected for all. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Trump
mean, he hasn't been reelected, so
he didn't. Yeah, Trump. Obama was great.
Yeah.
So on January 27, 2017, the ever-infamous, racist, and horrendous act of Donald Trump signing and implanting the Muslim ban, preventing Muslims from entering the country. This ban has caused many more of his supporters to continue to be fearful of innocent Muslims, claiming that they are violent. This idea was sparked through the 9/11 attack, but it is ironic since he spent the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attack being a live commentator in a boxing game and continuously saying the election was stolen from under him and his supporters. The ban got many out to go and protest against it, and Biden has now undone it, which I am so thankful for.
What is with the oh my god, religious persecution?
His obsession with losing the election is crazy.
I mean, he clearly lost. I mean, how happy I was
by a decent amount of
yeah, I was actually scared.
Voters
but then
as well.
when he won and when Joe and Kamala won, I was like just so happy. I couldn't explain it.
Definitely. You could see the difference between the 20th anniversary. Like Donald Trump was walking around like without a mask in big crowds and joking about the COVID virus once again, and Biden was respectfully visiting all the places that has been attacked and making comments and stuff, and he was so empathetic about it.
Yeah.
And and then Donald Trump was just being quite pathetic about it.
and
yeah. So in May 2017.
Hello. Anyways, remember, I think all the past presidents were there as well, like Bill Clinton, the Clintons, and
yeah, I think I definitely saw a couple photos of all the other presidents, obviously except for Trump, and he was like off commenting on a boxing game.
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, so in May 2017, the whole fiasco of James Comey and the cache of hacked emails from the Democrat Party, especially from Hillary Clinton herself, was released before the election. The story continues. It basically consists of him firing a bunch of people he hired to investigate, but then didn't give him the information he wanted. I don't really want to go into it further because frankly I just don't understand his decision making and how it all just played out. But if you do know any more and understand, just please tell us about it because genuinely I think we both are quite interested.
Yeah.
Like his decisions are so complicated. He hired a bunch of FBI directors and then they didn't give him the information he wanted, so he fired them openly, and then hired another person and then fired them again.
Yeah, honestly,
So
I don't get his way of thinking. I don't get his train of thoughts. I don't get anything about him because
what I would pay to be in his brain sometimes.
No, I don't. I don't want to go into his brain. Like, imagine going. No, I would die.
Yeah, probably
there.
not. So on June 1st, 2017 marked the date of Trump's wonderfully foolish decision on dropping out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which his party did so much to broker a deal out of. In December 22nd, 2017, the infamous legislation of the tax cut of 1.5 trillion US dollars, which he claimed was the biggest tax cut in American history, which is once again untrue. The largest tax cuts were actually from Obama and Reagan and still has not been topped. Can you sense there's a repeated pattern of Trump constantly stating lies just to gain attention towards him and his party, and constantly trying to outrun the other presidents that came before him, when frankly no one really cares except for his supporters, and even that is without good reasons.
Oh God, I can't. No.
He's constantly just like competing with other people, but like no one really cares. It's like you just gotta do your job.
And he didn't do his job. Like he literally like ruined what other presidents came and built and did. You know.
Yeah, I think he actually took away Obama's kind of like idea for like a pandemic like plan just in case if it ever happened. He's like, oh, we're never gonna be in a pandemic. Why would we need that? And he took it away, and then bam, it was a pandemic.
Wow.
Right? So his first term is quite long, so we're just going to zoom straight to the major bump in his road, which is when he first got impeached during the late of 2019. It had emerged that in 2019, Trump asked the Ukrainian leader to investigate Biden, whom he thought at the time would be his new rival in the 2020 elections. The Democrat-controlled House voted to impeach him, making him the third president to be so. But since his party was such a strong iron grip in the government, he was soon acquitted.
Oh God.
Now moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now moving. It's like stupid, isn't it? It's like really you're going to ask a Ukrainian president to investigate.
Well, he won. He still won.
Yeah, he still lost.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now moving on into 2020, where we found out that Trump really doesn't care for facts, costing 350,000 lives. As we all probably know, Trump downplays the virus tremendously at the start of the pandemic, claiming that it was less dangerous than the flu. He also downplayed the need to wear a mask, which later on caused him to catch the virus himself. Oh, and don't forget about the ultimate little joyride he took while still infected, when he was riding around the hospital in the back of his car, waving to his supporters whilst he had the virus.
What?
And did you not see the video? He was literally sitting in the back of his like Range Rover thing,
no,
and he was like riding around, and his supporters were like, "Go Trump!"
I know. What is wrong with
honestly,
him?
I bet you the driver literally had to lock the windows down just so that he wouldn't be freaking dumb enough to like literally like pull the window down and like take off his mask and say hi to his supporters. Like, I swear to God.
I feel bad for the driver. Like he was
probably like, why am I still working for him? I'm literally risking my life. And that literally caused so many people to not like believe in the virus because they like loved the guy so much, honestly. And when he got back from the hospital, he literally took off his mask in front of the White House, did a little wave thing again, and telling reporters that he tested positively towards negative. Like I don't understand that. Yeah. You can't test positively towards negative. Yeah. And he also had another TV broadcast saying that anyone and everyone can beat it whilst not wearing a mask again. At this point, I thought he would honestly just learn from his lesson, as he constantly is saying how he graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. Like, the guy brags so much, you would think his ego needed like a second.
Go to Harvard.
Like his ego probably lives in another like state, to be honest.
Okay. Honestly, I mean, no. He just. I mean,
Yeah,
if
and he
he's
also
so
made
smart,
that.
then
He
why
also
is
made
he
that
so
comment
dumb?
about. Sorry, you keep going.
If
I keep
he's so
interrupting you.
smart, then why does he do such stupid acts?
He literally the coronavirus would go away during April because it's colder and apparently it's better. And remember how we did the COVID conspiracy last time, and he literally told people that if you injected disinfectants into your lungs, it would help. Like, I honestly think his doctors had to physically hold him down from like injecting it himself. Like, the guy can't even like. I can't.
Oh God.
I have no words.
Okay.
I have no words.
Move on.
Okay. So finally, we are now getting to the end of Trump's reign. Thank God. On November 3rd, 2020, Donald Trump lost the election to Joe Biden, but in obvious Trump fashion, he did not go down easily at all. So to this day, he still believes that the election was stolen from under him and says if you didn't win, it means it was stolen from you. Yeah, he said
Oh,
said
so
that.
he
Honestly,
stole
the
it
guy
from Hillary? I mean,
yeah.
Oh God, I don't get
Honestly,
it.
the guy is such a sore loser. He kind of passes the pain on over to you. You know, the pain of having to watch his supporters try and defend his actions, but never have any general evidence or good comeback. The pain of him having trying to watch him save face on national television, defending his actions against sexually attacking women and enjoying it, and saying that he respects them right after it, but then proceeds to cheat on his wife, then pay the dishes off. Yeah, he like really respects women to the point where it kind of just hurts to watch. Now, after the stolen election comment, he then proceeds to hold a rally where he delivers a speech that lit the fireworks of the Capitol attack. A quote from the speech reads, "So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol, and we are going to try and give." Notice how he uses the word "we" in the speech. How much "we" did we actually see during the attack? Republicans often ask, "Where was Obama during 9/11?" Well, let me ask you this. Where was Donald Trump during the Capitol attack? Where was he when all of those people got killed? Where was he when you got dragged away in cuffs? Where was he when you were thrown in jail? Where was he? I mean, I can guess that he was sitting in his house watching you break the law in front of the big ass TV and tweeting on his phone about how much he loved you, but then couldn't do anything to help you afterwards because by then he had already lost all right to power. Let me make this clear for those who may still have foggy vision when it comes to him. He wasn't there. He was never there. He did not walk down Pennsylvania Avenue with you. He did not break into the Capitol with you. He did not take a bullet for you. He did not get trampled on by for you. He did not go into jail for you. He did nothing for you. Yes, sure, he may have gotten impeached and got his Twitter banned, but be honest with yourself. He was probably more upset about the latter and proud of the former than he would ever be for you. He's an egotistical, misogynistic, self-serving, racist politician that had grown to love the power he holds over people who thought that you could impeach Hillary and thought that one man's sexual assault is another man's flirtation. Many of you are still probably having to deal with the consequences of the Capitol attack right now. But know this, he is not. He is not dealing with the consequences. He is living up in his penthouse with his family, drowning in like gold. He doesn't care. He never has and he never will. And honestly, I'm still pretty shocked that you still think that you can support him even after this. And you still think that the election was stolen from you. It wasn't. Biden won fair and square. And honestly, he's doing a better job than Donald Trump. And he hasn't even finished his first term yet.
One thing I want to add is one funny thing. I think he actually got banned from like all social media platforms.
Yeah, and honestly, he probably whined more about that.
Yeah.
Like, the dude loves his social media to spread fake news. So now we're gonna move on. Now we actually found something that Donald Trump has done to help his country. So he provided COVID money to help households support the U.S. defense system, putting many into the defense system, providing them with jobs, creating a PPP to impose higher taxes on Chinese imported goods to the U.S., having stricter restrictions on vaping, reduction of burning coal, normalization in the Middle East. Although that one we can't be sure of since he could barely keep his own supporters to keep peace. Not accidentally starting a war and blowing up the world when he told North Korea they would be met with fire in theory, contributing larger to the entertainment of society with both his actions and words, and lastly, leaving.
Woo!
Thank God, it has been a long 4 years.
It has, too long.
Like,
way too long.
Like, honestly, I was getting worried that it would never end. It felt so long, but also felt quite quick because we were entertained quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is funny. I don't think he realizes he's funny.
Not meant to be. Like, his jokes wouldn't be funny, but his actions that he actually believes in.
He's funny, but, like, the dude is a walking joke.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, do you want to take it away with the fun end, or do you want me to do it?
You can do it because I'm nice.
Oh, thank you. So I actually found this fun end, and it's actually super funny. So a man claims to be a time traveler who had visited the year 2002. I can't read that number.
2118.
There we go. I can't read numbers. And said that he was a photographic evidence of what the future has in store. Alexander Smith said that in 1981 he traveled to the future on a top secret mission for the CIA, adding that it was an experiment he would never forget. Speaking to Apex TV, he said that aliens will soon visit the Earth and make contact with the world leaders, and later World War III will break out with a conflict between U.S. and North Korea. To back his claims, Alexander took a photograph with him and presented it on air, and it appears to show a futuristic city with green skyscrapers. So basically Green Lantern. He said that I visited the year of 2118 on a top secret CIA mission. As to my knowledge, it was one of the first times that time travel has successfully been completed. I went to the future and then back to the past. This happened in 1981.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I would want to go to the future. Like, that'd be fun.
I don't know how much of that I actually believe.
I mean, it's kind of stolen from a lot. I mean, the North Korea thing, Trump.
Yeah, like U.S. and North Korea. Like half of the American population probably doesn't even know where North Korea is on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't even know what to say to that. But I think that's a really good end to like the main topic in the podcast.
I love today's topic. It was hilarious. I mean,
it was. I don't even know. I still think Trump is funnier, but like honestly, if we gave this to Trump, he would probably believe it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening in today, you guys. We had so much fun.
Yep. Sorry. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for listening.
Always yours, Alex and Cara. Bye.
Bye.